How did I develop billions of dollars in business over the years? In today's dollars, it's estimated over $25 billion. How did I do that? I never went to college. I didn't come from a wealthy family. I used a system that never fails. The system works if you work it. So the reason you're not manifesting your goals, dreams, and desires is you're not really employing the system. The one critical part of that system, it kind of starts here, is something that I learned back in the early 70s. And every single person that I mentioned I've talked to recently, they all do this. It's called dreaming. So I want to do something right now with you, right now, that's going to change everything in your life if you just do this in the next 2 minutes. Number one, I want you to imagine, if you have a piece of paper, use that. I want you to imagine that you won the lottery, all the taxes were taken out, and $300 million was deposited in your bank account. You don't owe any taxes on it. You have $300 million in cash in your bank account. What would you do? Think about it or write it down. Would you quit your job? Would you buy a new house? Would you buy a boat? Would you buy a different car or cars? What kind? What color? What model? Would you travel? Where would you travel to? Would you take a cruise around the world? Would you travel around the world? Would you pay off all of your debt? Would you become instantly debt-free? Just every debt you have, just pay it off. What would you do? Would you get a new wardrobe? Would you hire a personal trainer and say, I'm going to get my body in shape now? Would you work on your health and saying, all these health spas that Kevin talked about that cost all this money, I'm going to go to them and really work on all my health? What would you do? What would you buy? Would you buy jewelry? Would you buy Rolex watches? Would you buy diamond rings? Would you buy earrings? Would you buy necklaces? Maybe you don't like that. What would you do? Would you set up trust funds for your kids for college? What would you do? And somebody says, well, I'm not going to dream like that because I don't have the money. When I get the money, that's when I'll think about it. That's loser mentality. There's not one person who makes huge money who thinks like that. Not one. They dream big when they're broke. Whether you're John D. Rockefeller, Elon Musk, Ross Perot, Donald Trump, you name the person. Stephen Jobs with Apple, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, any billionaire you can think of, anybody who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't think like that. They dream when they're broke. Because here's how it works. These are your dreams. And you start putting all these dreams in this circle, and they fill this circle. But here's your income. And what most people do is when you start dreaming, you notice that the dream circle is bigger than your income. So what you start doing is you start shrinking your dreams to fit your income. That's how you stay broke. What rich people do is they go, this is my income, but these are my dreams. Universe, make this bigger so I can get all my dreams. And they allow the universe to figure it out and present the how. What's your dream? How big can you dream? The difference really between you and I, or you and very successful people, is the size of our dream and time. Think about that. How big can you dream? What would you do if you had $300 million? Oh, I can't think that big. There you go. You just isolated the number one thing that's holding you back from manifesting more in your life. The bigger you can dream, you're stretching yourself like a rubber band. And once you stretch that rubber band and stretch it and stretch it and stretch it, and you let go, it never goes back to its original size. If you can expand your dreams, now when you set your goal for next month or the next 6 months, it's a heck of a lot easier to manifest. It starts with expanding your dreams. So what are your dreams? Think about that right now. What would you do? And if you don't change something in your life, you're never going to make those dreams come true. You have to allow the universe to present you opportunities, and then you need to take action when those opportunities are presented. That's what the wealthy people do. I mentioned that this is the success system that never fails. And somebody says, well, that can't be true, Kevin. There's probably a million people that have gone through your training over the years, and not everyone has made tens of millions of dollars. You're exactly correct. So the real question is, why do some people succeed and some people don't succeed? And the answer is the plan works when you work it. The people that don't succeed, when you talk to them, they're not following the recipe, period. They're not consistent and persistent. They're not doing the right things long enough consistently. But it works. You're on this call because you downloaded the Your Wish is Your Command audio series, the original live recording that I did over 20 years ago now, where people paid $50,000 each to attend. We had 100 people there, and in that room, we had a king, we had a crown prince, we had other members of royal families, we had billionaires, we had people worth hundreds of millions of dollars, former members and current members of the Brotherhood. We had politicians, world leaders. We had people that are in charge of world organizations. And I can't mention the organizations, but those people who were in attendance saw these individuals who came up on stage and verified and documented that what I'm teaching is what we learned in the Brotherhood, in the secret societies, and it works when you work it. That audio series, if you have not finished it, I recommend that you do. And I recommend that you listen to it multiple times.